Well, get ready for round two. GOP candidates preparing to square off in the second presidential debate this upcoming week. This time, 11 candidates will take the stage. Carly Fiorina is joining the other top 10 polling candidates. Our panel back with Ed, Susan, and Dan. What are you expecting Wednesday, Ed?
First of all, the second part, the bottom debate doesn't matter. All of those candidates are gone. They're not going to move forward. 3 or 4 here have to make a big inroad, not on beating up on Trump, but in breaking themselves out. Bush has to be out of the box. Kasich, Rubio, and obviously Walker, who's diminishing. If someone doesn't emerge in this thing as a serious challenger, you're going to get to a point where you're in Iowa with Trump still leading the pack.
Yeah, and you know, anybody who attacks Donald Trump, he will come back at you full force, Susan.
And the danger is it'd be a gang attack. My sense is everyone's going to want to take their shot at him, and they're all working on their lines and what have you.
But don't forget, though, they've got the bell. People only have a certain amount of time to say things. I envision right now that those moderators are, and I've moderated a Republican debate with Fox a few years ago, so I know how much effort goes into these things. They are going to be working on ways to get Trump to be substantive about the issues. He has avoided that so far. He stayed at the top of the polls. Those times that people have tried to get him to be substantive on foreign policy, he has stumbled. So let's see how well they do at CNN to try to get him to talk detail about. He's got to know who these leaders are, who the Iranian leaders are, who ISIS is. He's got to know who everybody is, or he's going to look bad, and that could really hurt him in the polls.
Or at a minimum, Dan, he's got to have some specific plans. They all have to have a specific plan.
That's where, you know, last time was rhetoric and the Trump phenomenon. This time really do need to know, what do you think about the economy? How do you tackle it? What are you going to do about this regulation that keeps mounting and mounting? How do you stimulate the economy? And those are specifics that maybe we'll start to hear in this debate.
And how will you act when you're head-to-head against the leader of China? How will you be conducting yourself when you're up against the heads of the G20?
Yeah, you can't just say we're going to push them around and get them to do what we want, because they're a formidable power. And by the way, they have a lot of our dollars over there.
I'll be interested to see how Carly Fiorina handles Trump.
She's going to do well, but she's not a front runner. The critical thing here is we've already lost one governor this week, Governor Perry. Walker is on oxygen. I mean, he basically is be out of this real quick. Kasich has to move forward, and Bush really has to have a good debater. He's not going to be viewed as very.
Well, Carly Fiorina managed to move up quite a bit in herself in the polls after that first debate at the kids' table.
Yes.
So she has the potential, I think, in this debate, especially if she takes on Trump in a meaningful and effective way, to move herself up and make herself more relevant in the polls and where she is right now.
And she is the new factor in this debate, which makes it different.
Right.
Yeah, well, she's the new factor, right? Because
she wasn't there before. She's there.
She's the only woman on the stage.
She's been attacked by Trump, so now
there's one other overshadowing thing in this debate, and that's that Ronald Reagan has got the big Air Force One behind it.
Right.
So you'll see them all basically trying to grab the ghost of Reagan as they trash each other, and Reagan obviously never trashed anybody. But I think you'll see every one of them trying to say, "I'm the new Reagan. I'm the new Reagan."
How much will you think news will come out of this? I mean, look, as we speak, as this debate is going to be taking place, Russia is increasing its military might in Syria. What's that all about? Putin and Assad.
Well, that'll be part of the discussion, I think. We'll really be able to get to see, foreign policy is supposed to be one of the big issues in the 2016 campaign, but we haven't heard a lot of discussion in detail by any of the candidates.
No.
Well, and Russia, I mean, it increases, and the Russians have said this, increases of some kind of accident between the U.S. and Russia. We've already had problems over the Baltic Sea. And so I think in going into Syria, Putin is saying, obviously, divert from Ukraine, but also saying, we're a player here, and you're going to have to deal with Assad in some fashion. So there's foreign policy, and you have the irony is that the Fed is meeting on the day of the debate and the day after the debate, and so what are they going to say? Abolish the Fed during the debate? They have to talk about the economy.
What
too.
a week! Okay, so you've got Congress talking about the Iran deal. You've got a 2-day Federal Reserve meeting, and you've got the second GOP debate,
and a weakening China,
and a weakening China. Absolutely, and these markets, global markets that are in flux because of it,
and the UN coming into town the week after. So I mean,
that's true. Add one more thing to it. The UN General Assembly. What do you make of the differences in the candidates? I mean, once they're all up there, how do you set yourself apart? That's what they have to be thinking. I mean, like a John Kasich, how is he going to?
Well, he has to be very substantive. You've got some very, very good debaters. You got Cruz, we haven't even talked about, is a great debater, and Cruz basically is the one guy who wants to inherit the Trump thing when Trump falls. Mike Huckabee's a very good debater. My sense is they've got to have, as you we say, you got to have some substance. Someone who basically nails a question, and you're going to get one or two questions, and you got to nail them, knock them out of the ballpark.
Yeah, you're right about Ted Cruz.
You got to be one of the highlights.
You really have to be one of the highlights.
But remember, back in 2012, these debates provided a format for the various candidates to have their own surges.
Right.
Is that going to happen this time, or is Trump just going to stay there at the top? That's my question.
All right, we will attempt to answer it. Let's take a short break, then we'll look at the one big thing to watch in the week ahead. Actually, there are several. This is Sunday Morning Futures. We'll be right back.